Hello and welcome to Conquering Alba, where we take you to the historical places that make Scotland what it is today. Today we are at the Clachan of Campsie outside of Lennox town as we visit the place of worship, Schonstatt. Schonstatt rests at the foot of the Campsie Fells outside of Lennox town. The area would have been owned by the Kincaid and Lennox families, whom we discussed before in the Lennox Castle video. We will place the tag to this video in the description below. The area is well known for its waterfalls and walks around the hills. This is one such waterfall known as the Allen Head Falls. Schonstatt has become a haven of peace and refuge from the bustle and glamour of the outside world, a sanctuary of a simple retreat. The retreat centre was originally called the Ballencleroch House, the place for the clergy, a name whose root it is in medieval times. The Schonstatt Centre was opened in 1989 and has been used frequently by individuals and groups. The house and shrine are open throughout the whole year, and across from the centre is the St Joseph's Cabin. On the grounds of Schonstatt, there are two Spanish chestnut trees on the grounds of the former Ballencleroch House. These trees are known locally as the duelling trees. During the 1600s, a feud between the Tory Stirlings of Glorit and the Kincaid Whigs resulted in a duel and the death of Malcolm Kincaid. While the tree marks the site of the duel, no one is quite sure if they date to that time or if they were planted later. And coincidentally, one of the trees has fell over, and this tree is meant to mark the site of where Malcolm Kincaid stood during the duel. Schoenstatt movement was founded in Germany in 1914 by Father Joseph Kentench, who saw the movement as being the means of a spiritual renewal in the Catholic Church. The movement is not named after the German words for beautiful place, even though this is the literal meaning of Schonstatt. It is, however, named after a small village close to the town of Wallander near Koblenz in Germany. Schonstatt emphasises a strong devotion to the Blessed Virgin Mary, and Schonstatt here in Scotland is the home of the Sisters of Mary. first chronicled reference to the Ballencleroch House appears in a record dated the 11th of August 1423, when an agreement for Ballencleroch was approved by John Brisbane of Bishopton. The Brisbanes retained the property for over 2 centuries until 1642, when it lapsed into the hands of the McFarlanes. During the initial phase of the structure on the site comprised of a tower or mansion house. When James McFarlane took control in 1664, he set about constructing a new mansion house in the traditional Scottish baronial style. The house endured until a fire in 1982. James McFarlane had wedded Mary Keith and placed her coat of arms at the front door. After this house was demolished in 1988, the coat of arms was retained and can now be observed set into the wall to the front door of the new house. A short walk from Schonstatt is the old St Machan's graveyard. Among many of the covered moss tombs and gravestones of the Clachan of Campsie graveyard, there is a lofty 2-storey domed 18th century burial vault of the Kincaid Lennox family. Few details can be seen except a flat arch on the west side bearing the date 1715 on the keystone. The upper storey is said to have been added by Miss Lennox early in the 19th century and used as a waiting room between church services. When the vault was first built, coffins of the family were laid on stone shelves. This practice was later discontinued and the interior was completely cleared at the funeral of Mrs Kincaid Lennox in 1876, the last funeral to take place in the Clachan. All the family remains now lie beneath the vault. The entrance to the vault is blocked by slabs, which were formerly table tombs. One bears the inscription to James Kincaid, who died on the 13th of February 1604, and the other is to James Kincaid, who died the 19th of January 1606. Miss Margaret Lennox was buried there in 1832. The lintel on the entrance is marked closed 1884. We hope you've enjoyed today's video here at Schonstatt. Even though it is not supposed to be named after a beautiful place, it truly is a beautiful place to see. If you have liked today's video then please like and subscribe for more, and until next time, Alba go bra.